what's up everybody? Cam of Cam and Focus here. I just got back from the theater. I saw TRON ARES, and like I've done with other movies in the past, this is going to be my spoiler-free first impressions of it. So let's get right to it. First of all, I'm just going to get this out of the way. Jared Leto, I don't know enough about, what he's done in the past, things he's been accused of, whatever. And to be honest, I don't really care. I'm judging based off of his acting ability, and he has certainly been one of the biggest talking points of the movie, and I thought he was fine. He didn't really display a whole lot of range. I don't think his performance was enough to give the movie the narrative weight that I think it was going for, but he was fine. And overall, I honestly really enjoyed this movie. I know that it's been getting, trashed online and whatnot, mostly probably because of him, but I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed this movie. I saw it in 3D, I saw it in, Dolby, digital, whatever, rumbling seats and whatnot. I thought it was, and it was a good experience, I wasn't fully invested the entire time. When the action was on screen, I was really locked in. But a lot of the stuff that went on with some of the side characters and the corporate stuff that was going on, I didn't find quite as interesting. Mostly because a lot of the side characters are kind of nothing characters. There's a couple who work with the corporation that our main protagonist works with who are just there. They didn't add a single credible thing to the movie. They were just kind of there and they ate up some screen time. But I mean, it came and went. It wasn't that big of a deal. I'm not gonna lie. I found the action of this movie really exciting. The chases were great. The action was really fun. The hand-to-hand stuff, some of it was kind of, choppy, edited really frenetically. It was clear that Jared Leto didn't really do any stunt work himself, which is fine, it's not that big of a deal. But there were some really interesting uses of the light bands that come off of the vehicles and the weapons and stuff. I found some of that stuff to be really innovative when it came to action choreography. The special effects were great. The sound design, holy crap. I mean, I really enjoyed the sound design. The soundtrack by 9 Inch Nails I thought was really, really well done. It had an overall darker tone than I think Tron Legacy had, and for what this movie was going for, I feel like the tone of the soundtrack really helped to kind of glue everything together. And I'm not saying that this movie's a masterpiece or anything like that. I mean, some of the performances are, and like I said, some of the action is pretty choppily filmed. When it came to the hand-to-hand stuff, I thought that it left some to be desired. And the script I found to be serviceable. It wasn't, any kind of nuanced, masterwork of writing. A lot of it was very on the nose. A lot of it was very expository. Sometimes characters said things that didn't really have to be said. A lot of it was very blatantly shown on screen with a character, a shot cutting away from a character who narrates that particular moment, things like that. And some of it took me out a little bit. But overall, it wasn't anything too egregious. I stayed fairly invested for the majority of the time. I thought that Ares was a fairly well-written character, especially with a lot of his introductory stuff, with how he kind of materializes and then is forced to dematerialize. I found a lot of that to be pretty cool. And overall, I just really had a good time with this movie. Is it a fantastic miracle of filmmaking? No, it's not, but I really enjoyed my experience. I feel like you benefit a whole lot, general audiences would benefit a whole lot from seeing this movie on the biggest screen you can find, with the loudest speakers you can find. Unfortunately, this film will probably tank at the box office. I really wish I could have been nicer about that, but with the box office numbers being what they are right now, and especially the negative talk about Jared Leto, it's kind of inevitable that this movie is going to tank, which is unfortunate because they were definitely setting up a sequel, and they were setting up some connectivity with Tron Legacy when it came to like Sam Flynn, played by Garrett Hedlund, which I wish that he was a presence in this movie. He's not, but I do want to see where else they go with this story. But unfortunately, if this movie does bomb, especially in the manner that I think it's going to, it might really hurt the chances of that happening. You know, we've had a lot of unfinished franchises before. You know, the first thing that I'm thinking of is the Divergent series. Not that I was particularly invested in that, but it's set kind of a precedent for things like this to happen, and it's unfortunate. I want this to happen. I want more of this. You know, if with better writing, better characters. I really feel like this story, this overarching story that they're setting up, could really shape up to be something special. So here's hoping that, you know, that this picks up steam in one way or another, and a studio decides to turn this into something a bit more long running. You know, it's been like, what, 13 years since the last movie? So I don't really know that a lot of audiences have been clamoring for a sequel, but we got one, and what we got, I feel, was pretty decent. But anyway, those are my overall first thoughts of the movie. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it was a good time. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was anything that really breaks the mold when it comes to filmmaking, but I really enjoyed it. I love the soundtrack. I love the cyberpunk aesthetic. I love the neon. I love the action. I liked the overall story that they were going for, because I'm a sucker for, you know, robot learns to be human stories. So yeah, that's really about it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. No stream tonight. Unfortunately, my co-host is going through some personal stuff right now. My thoughts are definitely with him. So until we're able to get him back on board, I'm going to be doing some more of these short form kind of IRL, you know, movie reviews. But anyways, be sure to like and subscribe to Cam in Focus. I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.